everybody. I'm Dan.
And I'm Ricky.
And we've got 4 more movies to review today. And I'm going to tell you all about them here on Multidimensional Geek. Welcome back, everybody. And today we're going to get the ball rolling with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, it's a video game property. It's a video game property from the Sega company. And it's a game I played when I was a kid. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I played it a little bit. A couple of my friends had the Sega Genesis back then.
Yeah, and I never played Sonic 1. I started with Sonic 2. But the movie is very good. It takes place... there's a little bit of an intro on who Sonic is. And he's... Would you say a preteen or a teenager? I can't really tell in the movie.
Well, at the beginning, he's a little kid.
Yeah.
And then it kind of fast forwards a few years after he gets sent away by his guardian.
Yeah. And he ends up in a town called Green Hills.
I think so.
Or Green Valley, which is actually a level on the game.
Yes.
A friend of mine at work told me that. I didn't know that. But it's Green Hills or Green Valley, Montana. And he just kind of hangs out there.
Yeah, he kind of has his own little burrow and speeds around town. There's a crazy guy in town that swears there's this blue flash of light running around town, and everybody just thinks he's crazy.
Yeah, because it's a small town. It's, maybe 1,000 people, give or take.
It's
so
like
it's
the
a
local
small town.
drunk that everybody just thinks is crazy.
Yeah. But eventually, I don't know what happens, but he gets kind of exposed a little bit.
Yeah, Sonic had this little incident and kind of ends up causing this electrical surge through the town, which brings some scientists in to investigate.
Yeah, one of my favorite actors who's of late fell off the rails, but Jim Carrey, one of my favorite actors, his performance as Dr. Evil, the character in the video game.
We get the warhead and we hold the world ransom for $1 million.
Dr. Robotnik.
Dr. Robotnik. He was very funny and very good. Kind of old Jim Carrey.
Yeah, very classic Carrey. I haven't seen him do anything like that in a long time. And it seems like the environment for movies these days, you don't have a lot of characters that act like he did back then. But he played it just perfect. I loved him as Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, and my feelings was that I think he was he maybe picked on or bullied when he was younger, and so now he has the technology, and he kind of is the bully now.
Yeah. So, and basically, Sonic meets up with a friend who he kind of was like a stalker of.
Yeah, James Marston and his wife. And he was the local police sheriff, and James Marston was, and he starts to kind of second guess his life, and it's like, maybe I need to move out of this town because I've been here for a long time, and it's just the same rundown, help, I got to get a cat out of the tree type jobs.
Yeah, and he was applying for a job in L.A.
San Francisco.
That's right, San Francisco. And they accidentally teleport all of Sonic's little teleportation rings to San Francisco, so they go on a road trip.
Yeah, and it was like, it's a little buddy movie. It's kind of funny, and I enjoyed it a lot. And of course, Robotnik's out there chasing him down because I don't know if it's because he wants the rings or he wants Sonic's power, something like that.
He wants his power because he just does find that one quill of Sonic, and it has like immense amounts of power. So he wants to be able to basically power the world with Sonic.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was very funny. Good chemistry between the actor and the voice actor, which I don't know who is Sonic. I don't know the actor that plays him.
I can't remember.
And overall, I gotta say it was a 3. It made me laugh a lot. The side characters were kind of funny, his wife and a few other side characters, but the main Sonic and the James Marston character were really funny, and I enjoyed it a lot.
I went into this movie not expecting a lot, and I laughed so hard at some parts. It was a good movie. They actually have a post-credit scene that kind of sets it up for a sequel. So, from what I've been hearing around the internet, most people are liking it. So, I hope they make the sequel.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the internet because when they originally showed the first preview, I couldn't notice the difference.
The
but
character model in the original preview was horrible.
Yeah, and so they went back and they pushed the movie back a little bit and they redid it all and it looks much better. Yeah,
I would also give it a 3.
Our next movie today is called Call of the Wild. It is a book that I know a lot of us have probably read back in elementary or junior high, depending on your education and what state you were in. But it's about a dog named Buck and his adventures that he goes on to. And I know that Harrison Ford's in the preview, but to be honest, it's mostly about the dog.
Yeah, Harrison Ford was only in, about
half the movie?
Of it?
Yeah.
But, it kind of starts out with him in like a southern family home, and he ends up getting kidnapped.
Yeah, it's in the movie is set in the 1880s, so it's the gold rush time. A little bit before the Civil War, but it's gold rush time, and people were paying good money for dogs because they would go to Alaska or California, and they'd find gold. Well, they were getting these dogs for like Alaska, to bigger dogs to push the sleds so they could go out and try to find gold.
Yeah, and of course he ends up being a sled dog for a little bit. He was pretty proud about being a sled dog. There were a couple of little heartwarming moments during the sled dog. I think I got more heartwarming moments while he was a sled dog than anything. When he jumps in the water to save that lady.
Yeah, because they were mail carriers. They weren't with the gold rush. They were just mail carriers. And, talk about hard life. You had to go from, like, the tip of Alaska and on up with mail, and sometimes you wouldn't get mail for, about a month? Is it how long it seemed like in the movie?
Yeah, they kind of mentions that. He was, like, almost always 2 weeks late because of how slow his dogs were for a while. But
yeah, and
Buck helped him get there on time.
Yeah, and then eventually they were the people that did the mail carrier service got transferred to a different job.
Well, the service got canceled because of something else replacing it. I think it was like the telegram.
Yeah, the telegraph or something. And so they basically lost their jobs, and at one point Buck was by himself, but an older gentleman who had met Buck a couple times in the town found Buck.
Yeah, well, Buck gets purchased by some guy that's not not very nice at first, and then Harrison Ford ends up taking him away from that guy because that guy was trying to. He basically would have killed all the dogs.
Yeah, I can't remember. Did they escape or
they escaped?
They escaped. Yeah, there was a bad man that was taking this young couple, and the couple seemed nice, but the other guy seemed like a really mean guy, and he was mistreating the dogs and stuff.
He was going to take them into some bad territory where the dogs were most likely going to die because the ice was going to break, and luckily the dogs, at least they said in the movie, did escape.
Yeah, and so Buck lives with the Harrison Ford character who, speaking of escaping, to me it felt like he was trying to escape his life because I don't know if it was his son that died or he just got a plain divorce, but something was gnawing at him, and
it sounded like a little bit of both. His son died, and then that caused the divorce because he kind of pushed his wife away afterwards.
Yeah, and so he ended up going out to the woods by himself, and Buck was a very good companion of his, and they would go out on adventures and stuff like that.
Yep. But in the end, I thought this one was pretty good. I'd give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm about 2.5 to 3. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I like the dog, the facial expressions and stuff, which is good because animals obviously can't talk, and so the facial expressions that Buck had
kind of
told the story. Yeah, it
was all CG.
Yeah, but I liked it. Like I said, 2.5 to 3.
And our third movie for today, I actually haven't seen, but Ricky ended up going with his brother-in-law to see Bad Boys for Life.
Yeah, it is a third movie in this trilogy, and I have to admit, I haven't seen any of the other ones, I tried watching one of them the other day. The first one was from 95 or 96, and I watched a little bit of it, and it couldn't keep my interest. I don't know why. But this one was very good. It stars Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. They are partners. I know they are partners in the other ones too.
Yep.
But they're partners in the Miami Police Department, and their chief was the same chief in the other two movies, I guess. And Will Smith is like he wants to be a cop forever. That's at the beginning. And Martin Lawrence is like, hey, I'm having a grandchild soon. You know, my daughter's doing good in their life. I just want to stop. I want to retire. And so he kind of does. And when they were about to retire, someone shoots Will Smith's character. A man who was sent to America from his crazy witch-like mother. And it was a lady whose husband died in jail. Okay. And so it's revenge. It's kind of revenge. So the son goes out and he kind of tries to twist the current Miami mob and get them to all go with him. So he starts like killing some bad guys at first, and he's like, I'm in charge now. So anyways, his mother says, go ahead and kill all these other people, but save Will Smith for last. Well, he doesn't listen to that. Sorry, I know I'm giving a lot of the movie away.
That's all right.
But he doesn't listen to that, and he goes and tries to kill Will Smith. Spoiler alert, he makes that alive. But anyways, he goes on a manhunt to get this guy, Will Smith does. And Martin Lawrence is like, dude, I'm out, man. He says it like 2 or 3 times, but he gets dragged back in, so to speak, and they try to trace other bad guys in Miami back to who this guy is, who he really is. And I don't want to give away too much who he really is, but it has to do with the mother and Will Smith, and they go back to Mexico to have one final resolution because the mother went psycho. And one of the best lines in the movie is Martin Lawrence does eventually come around and they do work together and they go to Mexico. But one of the best lines in the movie is he tells Will Smith, how can you not wrap your thing when it comes to a witch? And there's other words that were said, but how could you sleep with a witch and not wrap your thing? But overall, I gave it like a 2.5 and a 3, like 2.5. I mean, it was plenty of action. It was fun to see once.
I've seen the first 2, and they both.
Yeah,
have a lot
so
of
you
action.
might like it, yeah, because I was lost because I've never seen any of the other ones, and you don't necessarily have to have seen the other ones, but it might have helped me with some of the stuff because
I'm sure there was a lot of Easter eggs and references in
Yeah.
there that you probably didn't catch on to.
yeah,
I haven't seen them in years myself.
And so yeah, it was about 2.5 to 2 to 2.5. So that was pretty funny. The stuff that their chemistry is still pretty funny after all these years. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith were pretty funny, and that kind of stuff I like because I like comedy. But some of the swearing and the action, I was a little, damn, a lot. But
All right.
and our last movie today is from our friends at Pixar and Disney, Onward. It stars these 2 brothers in a fantasy mystical world.
Yeah, they are basically, they didn't have a dad growing up, and the younger brother, who was played by Spider-Man,
Tom Holland.
is he turns 16 at the beginning of the movie, and his mom has a gift that their dad left for him that said, once both our kids are 16, you can give them this, and it's a magical staff with a spell.
Yeah, and his brother, who's played by Chris Pratt, is the best way to describe him without being too mean is like a bumbling nerd internet guy. Like he has the
He's a multi-dimensional geek.
yeah, so to speak. Or you know what I was thinking after we walked out, and a couple days later, it's like that Johnny Atkins guy on Goldbergs, because he wears like this vest with like all these rock bands or made-up rock bands. But the one thing that we are kind of missing is, and it's not a huge spoiler, but the world was full of magic. Like,
Yes.
and then
That's pretty clear from the trailer.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
and
magic.
then it
in the
modernized. It people were like, oh, you could flip a light switch, and that's what.
Yeah, they explain it in the first like 3 minutes of the movie how magic was hard, and so not a lot of people practiced it, and eventually the other people learned how to use electricity and kind of evolved the tech from there. And
it's modernized. It's they're all using cell phones and driving cars and all this stuff.
It's a modern tech fantasy movie.
Yeah, but the brother, the bumbling idiot, the Chris Pratt character, he still believes in magic. He's like, it has to exist.
Yeah. But so the spell was basically, and this is given away in the trailers as well, that their dad wrote a spell that would bring him back for 24 hours. And during the spell basically gets broken right in the middle, and only half of their dad shows up. So they have to go on a quest to find the fire gem.
Yeah, and they run into a bunch of cast of characters that were really funny. The lady at the restaurant was Octavia Spencer, by the way.
Yeah.
And then the mom is Julie Louis-Dreyfus, I think.
Yep.
And I don't know who her new husband is, the cop.
I don't remember his name, but
yeah.
there was a lot of big names.
Yeah, and they go on this adventure, and it's crazy because the brother, I guess it's from a game that he plays. Like everything they went to.
It's like a Dungeons and Dragons type game, but not called Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, and it was fun, and they have had some moments of brotherly tension because one of them's a little bit better with that magical stick than the other.
Yep, and there's a lot of bonding that goes on, but not just between them, but even between the legs of their father.
Yeah, and the father is really, the character is really funny because it's just half a body,
Yeah,
but he
just
still
from his
shows
waist down.
emotion and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And like with most Pixar movies, it has the feels. It makes you feel good.
Yeah, I didn't quite tear up, but I was
Same,
really close
close.
towards the end. And
But
I don't want to completely give away the end. 'Cause
No.
that one is still in theaters right now. But it was a fun movie, and I'd give it a 3.5.
yeah, same here, 3.5. I'd highly recommend it. It makes you laugh, and I know that this isn't the particular setting of most Pixar movies, but it's pretty funny. I liked it.
Alright, let's run down our ratings for today. So Sonic the Hedgehog, we both gave a 3. Call of the Wild, Ricky gave it a 2.5 to 3. I gave it a 3. Bad Boys for Life, Ricky's the only one that's seen that, but he gave it a 2, 2.5. And Onward, we both gave a 3 to 3.5. So, thanks for watching till the end. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Consider subscribing if you're not already. And, of course, leave a comment section down in the comments. We love hearing from you. If you'd like to help support the channel, buy some t-shirts. There's more than just our logo design on the link below. And there's some other affiliate links down there as well to help hopefully upgrade my camera eventually. So until next time, make your life more fun by keeping it multidimensional. Catch you later.